I'm Cassie and you're watching TIGR Reviews on the Indie Game Report. Today we head to the Roaring 20s and 30s to gather up moonshine and sneak past the police in the 2 to 4 player game called Moonshine Run from games by a Madman or two. In the Press Your Luck game Moonshine Run, players are competing to make the most money by pressing their luck flipping cards trying to find moonshine cards. Each card that players choose to flip will be at a risk because players don't know if the card that they are going to flip is going to be beneficial or is going to harm them. Players might encounter cards such as the Speakeasy, which might let players protect their moonshine jugs and possibly find more moonshine. And they might also encounter bad cards like the police, who might make them lose their moonshine. Let's go take a quick peek at Moonshine Run. Moonshine Run is a 2 to 4 player game played over the course of 6 rounds or days. Each day, players will receive a certain amount of cards from a shuffled deck, which they will have the opportunity to flip, revealing cards which are either useful and may help them win the game, or will harm them. The deck is made up of a few different kinds of cards. First are moonshine cards, which turn into dollars at the end of each round, and dollars equal points at the end of the game. Second type are item cards, and they help the active player perform different kinds of actions that will affect their moonshine as well as opponents. There are also negative cards, which affect the active player negatively by forcing them to do stuff like end their turn or maybe discard cards, and there are other negative effects as well. There are also a few other kinds of cards, such as the Speakeasy, which will help protect moonshine cards and let players buy more cards while they're there. And there are moonshine modifiers, which can change the value of your moonshine at the end of the day. In the beginning of the game, each player starts with 10 moonshine dollars that they will be able to spend throughout the game. Then the start player takes the appropriate amount of free cards for the day from the deck. 1 card is taken on the first day, 2 on the second, and so on. Then if a player chooses to, on her turn, she may purchase more cards from the deck to flip at a cost of 1 moonshine dollar per card. Once she has chosen if and how many cards she wants to purchase, she then can flip her cards. She may stop flipping at any time. When she does decide to flip a card though, she gets to look at it before she reveals it to her opponents, because item cards are kept secret and may be put into the player's hand to be used at the player's discretion. All other types of cards are revealed to the table once flipped. If the player reveals moonshine jugs, she may turn them in at the end of the round for moonshine dollars, as long as she still has them. If a player reveals a card with negative effects, she resolves the negative effects before she continues flipping cards. If the active player flips a Speakeasy, all of the moonshine jug cards she played previous to the Speakeasy that day are saved from any negative effects for the day. In addition, if the active player chooses, she may purchase additional cards to flip that turn at a cost of 2 moonshine dollars per card. Once the player's turn ends by flipping all of her cards, or a negative card forces her to end her turn, she then passes her turn. Her opponents then will all take their turns in the same manner. Once all players have taken their turn, the day ends, and players can now turn in all of their moonshine jugs for moonshine dollars. Once all players have their moonshine dollars, a new day begins. The round tracker is moved counterclockwise to the new start player, and the start player begins his turn, drawing 1 additional free card. After 6 days, the players with the most moonshine dollars wins Moonshine Run. Moonshine Run is a very easy game to learn. Players simply have to flip cards, which makes the game very accessible. The game is very press your luck based. You're pressing your luck first of all when you are choosing to flip the cards because you don't know what you are flipping. And second of all, when you choose to purchase cards, again, you're pressing your luck because you don't know if the cards you purchase would be beneficial or will harm you. The deck is shuffled, so all cards that are drawn randomly. You don't know what you're going to get. And players can attempt to count cards. If you know how many cards are in the deck, you can try to keep track because you can see what players are playing. However, you don't know what item cards players have. And also when players discard cards, they discard them face down. So again, you will kind of lose your count if you were trying to keep track of how many cards are left of each type. The press your luck part of the game really isn't just with the flipping cards and buying cards as well. When you have an item card, you have to choose if you want to save it to maybe use later against a negative effect, or you can use it now. So you have a couple of options. And if you choose to save it for later, later might not ever come, so then you have an item card that you were saving that you never got to use. So there's a lot of different kinds of luck involved in Moonshine Run. Even with all of the luck though, I can honestly say that I really enjoyed playing the game. It is definitely light, but it felt really balanced. Those of us that played the game somewhat reserved, didn't spend all of our money every turn to buy cards, ended up at the end of the game with fairly similar scores. However, those players that, decided they wanted to flip everything and buy all the cards every round, did not do so well. I know that this can affect the amount of strategy available in Moonshine Run, but it really didn't bother us. It's kind of like the essence of press your luck games. You just have to know when to hold your cards and when to buy your cards. I really like the theme of Moonshine Run. Having a press your luck game involving with moonshine really works thematically because back in the 20s and 30s, it was definitely a risk trying to move alcohol around during the Prohibition. So I thought the mechanics worked really well with the theme. And I also liked the way some of the cards worked with the theme as well. Like when you have a police card, you can choose to bribe them, which was a real thing back in the 20s and 30s. And the speakeasy cards, having a safe place to drop off, so to speak, your moonshine jugs it was just all very well incorporated with the theme. The artwork was very well done and worked well with the theme. I liked the font on the cards, but I can tell you the font on the box made me think the game was a little bit revolving around horror. So I can tell you right now there are no vampires and there are no werewolves in Moonshine Run. If you think you would like Moonshine Run as well, there is information about the game down below. If you like this video, I invite you to subscribe or leave a comment. And if you would like the Indie Game Report to check out your game, you can visit our website down below. Thanks for watching. I'm Cassie with the Indie Game Report, signing out with Moonshine Run by Games by a Madman or Two.